Shabbat Shalom. Welcome, everyone. We will begin our service in about 2 minutes. Hello, Chris. Hello, Rick. Nice to see you guys, or at least your names. I miss all of you. Hello, Charles. And hello, Emily. Another minute and a half, and we'll get started. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Agudath Israel Etz Ahayem Synagogue here in beautiful Montgomery, Alabama. I am Rabbi Scott Kramer. Very nice to see everyone. For our very first regular Shabbat following the holiday of Pesach, it's weird to just be sort of normal, sort of not normal. And hold on 1 second. And there we go. We will go ahead and begin. We are praying out of Siddur Lev Shalem. And the Siddur is downloadable as a PDF file from our synagogue's website, but you all know that. Hello, David and Tina. Nice to see everyone. I would like to see all of you come to the shul next week and be here in person. It's so great that we have so many people online. It's really, really wonderful to see everybody. And be nice to be able to be in the same sanctuary and be able to have a oneg together or kiddush. I look forward to that. We are beginning our service on page 5 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue page 11, Psalm 95. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena ladonai. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, naria, letzor yishenu, bizmirot naria lo. We continue in the English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands formed the earth's deep. Mountain crests, too, are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. For Adonai is our God, and we are God's flock, sheep in God's caring hands. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted, like the people at Merivah, like that time at Massah in the desert, when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way, so in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. Arbaim shanakut bedor va'omaram toeh levavhem neveim lo yad rachai. Asher nishbati v'api im yavon el menuchati. Page 13, Psalm 96. Shiru ladonai, shir chadash, shiru ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru ladonai, baruch shemo, basru meyom leyom yeshuato. Sapru vagoyim, kevodo bechol amim nifliotav. Ki gadol Adonai, o mehulal miyod. No Rahu, Alko Elohim, Lai Lai Lai, Kiko Elohe, Amim Elilim, Vadonai Shamayim Asap, Had Ve'adar Lefanav, Oz V'tiferet B'mikdasho, Avu Ladonai Mishpachot Amim, Avu Ladonai Kavod Vos, Avu ladonai ke'evod shemo, seu mincha, uvahu lechatzrod of lai lai lai, shtachavu ladonai behadrat kodesh, chilum mipanav kol haaretz, imrum vagoyim Adonai malach, aftikum tevel balatimot, Yadina min b'meisharim yismechu hashamayim v'tagil haaretz ayir hamayamu melo yalu sadai v'chol asher bo lai 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 aziranenu kolat sayar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz Yishpot tevel betzedek ve'amim be'emunato Yalai la lai la yai la 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 lai Yai lai 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 la lai la lai Yai lai 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 Yai lai 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 Yai lai lai lai. We continue page 15 with Psalm 97. Adonai reigns, let the earth be glad, the many distant lands rejoice. Clouds and thick darkness surround the divine, righteousness and justice secure God's throne. Fire goes before God, consuming besiegers round about. Flashes of lightning illumine the land. The earth watches and trembles. The mountains melt like wax at the approach of Adonai, at the approach of the Master of all the earth. The heavens tell of God's righteousness, and all the nations see God's glory. Worshippers of idols be shamed for praising false gods. All that is deemed supreme bow before God. Zion hears of it and rejoices, and the cities of Judah exalt as you, Adonai, pass judgment. You, Adonai, are above all that is earthly, exalted over all that is worshipped as divine. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Or zaru la tzadik u'le'Yisrael lev simcha, simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, v'hoduhu lezecher kadisho. Page 17, Psalm 98. Mizmor shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflaot asa, Hoshia lo yemino. Uzaro wakod shoadia Adonai Yeshuato le'eno goyim gilad tzidkato zachar chasto ve'emunato leveit Yisrael ra'u cholav se'aret et Yeshuat Eloheinu Horiu l'Adonai kol haaretz, bitchum v'ranenu v'zameru, zamru l'Adonai bechinar, bechinar v'kol zimara, b'chatzot rod v'kol shofar, horiu lifnei HaMelech Adonai, Yiramayam u'maloho, tevel v'yoshveva, neharot yimcha uchaf, Yachad arim yiranenu lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel betzedek v'yamim be'meisharim yalai lalai 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 yalai lalai lalai yalai lalai 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 Yalai la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Page 19, Psalm 99. Adonai reigns, nations tremble. The one enthroned amidst the cherubim makes the world quake. Adonai is great in Zion above all nations. They shall acknowledge your name, saying, Great, awe-inspiring Holy One. A sovereign's strength lies in the love of justice, and you forge the paths of truth, judging Jacob righteously and justly. Exalt Adonai, our God. Bow down before God, the Holy One. Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name. Called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai, our God. You are a forgiving God to them, even as you punish them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai, our God, and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai, our God, is holy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lahar kadisho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We rise, if you are able, page 21, Psalm 29. Bizmor leDavid, havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod vos, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, El kavod hirim Adonai omayim rabim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai be'adar, kol Adonai shover arazim, v'yishaber Adonai et al ze'halvanon, v'yarkidem kemo egel, Levanon v'Sirion kemo vendreimim, kol Adonai chotzev lavotesh, Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai yecholeo ayalot, vayechesop yaharot, uvehechalo kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamabul yashavaye, shev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo shalom. You may be seated, page 23. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmi'anu elam yuchad. Adonai echad u'shamahu echad, l'shemo tiferet beliti la. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lekrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mikor abiracha merosh mikedem nesucha, sov maaseh b'machshvat chila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha, kumitzi mitocha hafecha ravlach, shevet b'yemek habacha, v'hu yachamohu alaychem la. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitnari meyafar kumi, livshei vigdei tifartecha mi. Ayad ben Yishai beit halachmi, karva el nafshi geyala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoreri, kiva ore kumi uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lo tevoshi v'lo tikami, ma tishtochachi u'matemi. Bach yechesu ani eyami v'nivnetayir al tila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Dahayulim shisa sho esayech v'rachaku kom mivalayech, yasis alayech Elohayech, kimchas chatana kala. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Yamin usmo tifroti v'et Adonai taritzi ayadish ben parzi v'nishmecha v'nagila. Lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. We rise, if you are able, page 25, the last stanza of Lecha dodi, as we face towards the west to greet the Shabbat bride. Bo'i v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzalam, toch emunei am segula. Bo'i chala, lecha dodi lekrat kala p'nei Shabbat nikabela. You may be seated. We continue with Psalm 92, page 27. A psalm, the song of the day of Shabbat. It is good to thank you, Adonai, and sing to your name most high, to proclaim your love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. Finger the lute, pluck the harp, let the sound of the lyre rise up. You gladden me with your deeds, Adonai, and I shall sing of your handiwork. How wonderful are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs. The arrogant do not understand. The fool does not comprehend this. The wicked flourish like grass, and every evildoer blossoms only to be destroyed forever. But you, Adonai, are exalted for all time. Surely your enemies, Adonai, surely your enemies will perish. All who commit evil will be scattered. As a wild bull raises up its horn, you raised my head high and anointed it with fresh oil. As my enemies gather against me, my gaze remains steady, for my ears listen and hear. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming, Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no flaw. Tzadik tamar yifrach ki erez balvanon yiske shetulim bevet Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim yeyu leagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri v'lo avlatabo. Page 29, Psalm 93. Adonai is sovereign, robed in splendor, girded in strength. The earth stands firm, not to be dislodged. From earliest time you were enthroned, you are eternal. The rivers rise up, Adonai. The rivers raise up their roar. The rivers raise up their waves above the roar of the vast sea and the majestic breakers of the ocean. Adonai stands supreme in the heavens. In your house, beautiful in its holiness, your testimonies endure, Adonai, for all time. Shabbat Shalom. It's nice to say that without a Chag Sameach behind it. This is our first regular Shabbat following the end of the holiday of Pesach. I don't know what your house looks like, but my apartment is just strewn with things waiting to be packed and shipped away for next year. I still have to do food inventory, but hopefully that will get done sometime this next week. This week's Torah portion is Shmini, and a part of it is dedicated to kashrut, our laws of what is and is not forbidden to eat. You might be thinking, OMG, why are we going to now spend time on talking about kashrut, the kosher laws, right after I have completed Pesach? Why, after cleaning our homes on steroids, buying expensive foods made just for Passover, swapped out our dishes and utensils with 18 boxes of Passover dishes and utensils, and manically searched for chametz, or that which is forbidden to eat on Pesach from our homes? Why, after all that, do we need to discuss the laws of kashrut? There is a story of a man who had a very large family. When he came home from a hard day of working the fields, he was greeted with noise, loud noise. Each of his kids fought with each other and played games with each other. His wife fought with all the kids to do their chores. And when he came home, his wife and kids all piled on their problems to him constantly, day after day, week after week. The noise was relentless. So he went to the rabbi of his village to see if he could give him advice. The rabbi told the man to go home and bring the chickens into the house. What? You want me to bring more chaos into the home? Fine. He did that and then returned to the rabbi and told him that this only made matters worse. Okay, the rabbi said. Now bring the cows and horses into the house. What? He did what his rabbi suggested and returned the next day, ready to tear his hair out. Your ideas did not reduce the amount of noise or chaos, but increased it. How is this supposed to help? The rabbi then said, now take the chickens and cows and horses out of your house and back to their place outside. Incredulous, the man did as his rabbi suggested. The next day, the man comes back to see his rabbi. Rabbi, a miracle has occurred. The chaos and noise has abated, and now there is calm and peace in the home. I cannot thank you enough. For those that think keeping kosher is difficult, and the rules are complicated, and the food not as tasty as non-kosher food, we have Passover. It is like God telling us, swap out your dishes, buy all new food without leaven, corn, rice, legumes, and then cover all your tables and cabinets and counters with tinfoil. Then kosher your ovens and sinks and microwave ovens and dishwashers. Then move all of those tasty foods to another room and lock that room lest you be tempted to eat the tasty foods. Do this for 8 days. Then reverse everything and go back to boring, easy, regular kashrut. So here we are. The day after Passover is finally over. And how easy things are now that we only have to worry about normal kashrut. Finally, I have an answer to why we do this work every year before Passover. It is to remind us of how good we have it and to stop complaining when things are too hard. What a prescription for life when we think things are chaotic and seemingly out of control. The grass always looks greener on the other side until you get there. And all of a sudden, they were actually greener where you originally were. Shabbat Shalom. We now turn to page 39a. We rise for the beginning of Ma'ariv with the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam V'ho'ed. You may be seated. Baruch et Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Page 40. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael amchavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu v'kumenu nesiach b'chukecha ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובאו הם נגע יומם ולילה, ויבטך תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך וקומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, והיה אם שמוע תשמעו מצותי אשר אנוכי מצווה אתכם היום לאהוב את אדוני אלוהיכם ולעבדו. ויהי לכם והיו לטוטפות בין עיניכם. כי מהשמיים הארץ. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת להם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורתם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת. והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תסגרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 43a. This is our enduring affirmation binding on us that Adonai is our God and there is none other. And we, Israel, are God's people. God is our sovereign, redeeming us from earthly rulers, delivering us from the hand of all tyrants, bringing judgment upon our oppressors, and just retribution upon all our mortal enemies, performing wonders beyond understanding and marvels beyond all reckoning. God places us among the living, not allowing our steps to falter, and leads us past the false altars of our enemies, exalting us above all those who hate us. Adonai avenged us with miracles before Pharaoh offered signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. God brought Israel from its midst to lasting freedom and led them through the divided water of the Sea of Reeds. As their pursuers and enemies drowned in the depths, God's children beheld the power of the divine. They praised and acknowledged God's name. Page 44. U'malchuto b'rotzim ki b'leihem Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael chanishira b'simcha rabba v'yamachu chulam mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi kamocha nedor ba'kodesh nahora tehilot osefele malchutecha ra'uvenecha bo kiyam lifnei Moshe zeli anu v'yameru Adonai yimloch le'olam v'oed v'ne'emar ki v'ada Adonai et Yaakov u'golod mi'at chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 45. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'hamideinu Malkeinu Lechayim Ufaros Aleinu Sukat Shalomecha V'taknenu b'yetzatova milfanecha Ve'hoshienu l'man shemecha V'again ba'deinu Ushmotzetenu vein l'chaim u'shalom yatav yorelam Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha baruch et Adonai Haporet sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael Ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise, page 46 for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barito lam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat La'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz u'vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Uvayom ha'shvi shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash shavat vayinafash vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. We rise for the silent Amidah for the Friday night, which begins on page 47 and concludes on page 52. Again, this is a silent Amidah. page 53. Stand if you're able. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzevaam vayechal Elohim bayom hashvihi melachto asher asa vayishpot bayom hashvihi mikol melachto asher asa vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvihi Vayishpot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa vayivarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i vayikadesh oto kivo shavat mikol melachto asher bara Elohim la'asot. You may be seated. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Agado Gibor v'Hanora Elyon konei shamayim va'aretz Magen avot bidvaro mechaye metim b'mamaro Ho'el HaKadosh she'en kamohu Hameniach li'amo b'yom Shabbat kodsho Kivam ratza la'niach lahem Lefanav navod b'yirav ha'fachad V'nodeh lishmo b'chol yom tamid me'ena berachot el ha'odahot Adon hashalom mekadesh hashabbat umvarech shavi'i umeniach b'kedusha le'am b'kedush ne'onheg Zecher lemase v'reishit Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ritzei v'menuchatenu kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chelkenu b'toratecha sabenu mituvecha v'samchenu b'shuatecha v'tahel li b'levdecha b'emet v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava uvratzon Shabbat kodeshecha v'yanuchu vo Yisrael mikadeshei shemecha Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh HaShabbat. And we continue, we rise, page 56, as the ark is open for Elena. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol lateknu lal yotzei bereshit shalo asan kagoye aratzot v'lo samanu kamishmachot adama shalo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim v'fnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרא בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו וזולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא אלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד על כן כתוב בתורתך אדוני מלך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. You may be seated. This week we will observe yard sites for Jake Eagle, Sultana S. Rousseau, Mara Schulwolf, Rebecca Witt, Victor E. Hannon, Marcus Kermish, Rose Kushner, Fanny Silber-Tepich, Ben Witt, Waldemir Faria Soers, Simon Schulman, Catherine Hannon, Fanny Ackerman Kilberg, Isaac Alhadef, Mary Comras Berman, Leon J. Hassan, Sarah Emanuel, Arnold Fast, Judy Mayer, F. Ray Sharker, and Sam Norman Shinbaum. Those observing yard site and those who mourn, please rise and join me on page 58 with the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabba b'yoma divrach chirutei v'yamlech malchutei b'chayichon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kari v'yimaru amen yehi shmei rabbam nevarach le'olam omel maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei kudisha barichu le'lam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran b'yoma v'yimaru amen yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen Oseh shalom b'mirmav uyaseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. You may be seated. Shabbat shalom, welcome. Thank you all for joining me this evening. We had a nice, healthy online crowd. I'm so glad to see that. And welcome to all the newcomers. Looks like we have somebody coming in, Stephanie Davis from Nova Scotia. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed the service. Come back and join us. And whoever else is new that I don't see your names. Tomorrow's service, we continue Shabbat. Tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. And tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., the Alabama Community Virtual Havdalah will meet to end Shabbat together in where we hear words of Torah, we hear music, both secular and dealing with the portion or wherever we are in the calendar. And all I can say, it is a wonderful, wonderful way to end Shabbat. If you don't have the link and would like to join us, go ahead and email me, and I will get you the link before we start at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. This week is the week of Yom HaShoah, the week where we commemorate the horrible events that transpired in the middle of last century. We commemorate Holocaust Memorial Day. This year, as every year for the past probably 7 years, I organize as I sit on the Alabama Holocaust Commission, I organize the state commemoration. This year's commemoration will take place on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 11 a.m. at the Alabama Department of Archives and History. That's at 624 Washington Avenue in Montgomery. Our keynote speaker this year will be Rabbi Steve Silberman of Congregation Avos Chesed of Mobile. And Governor Ivey will also deliver a proclamation and some appropriate words for the occasion. You are all welcome to join us in person, and it's also going to be via Zoom, so it's going to be a hybrid event. if you go to the web page of the Alabama Holocaust Commission, you will see an advertisement which has the bit.ly registration link where you can register either online or in person. And we would appreciate if you letting us know whether you're going to come in person or join us via Zoom. It's really incredible for such a small state. We have a number of Holocaust events that are happening this week. Sunday, there is a Holocaust memorial in Selma, Alabama. Dan Puckett, who's president of the Alabama Holocaust Commission, and I will be going to that. That's I believe it's at 3 p.m. There is one in Birmingham, I believe, on Tuesday night. There is one in Mobile, one in Mobile. And apparently there's one in Huntsville. I don't know if they've ever had one before in Huntsville, but there's one in Huntsville as well. So we have this plethora of Holocaust memorials going on in the state of Alabama. It's heartening to know that the tragedy, the crime that was the Shoah, will never, ever be forgotten. Because as soon as we forget about it, that's when it repeats itself. So please plan on joining us for one or more of these events. I and Dan will be going to the one in Selma, the one in Mobile, and of course we organized the one here in Montgomery. So with that, I wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll conclude our service, page 211. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra li'ed nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu oveh v'hu yiyeh b'tifara V'hu yiyeh b'tifara, v'hu echad v'yein sheni laham shelo lehachbira, b'li reshit, b'li tachlit, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra, v'hu eli v'chai go'ali, v'tzor chevli b'yetzara, V'hu nisi umanosli minat kosi b'yomekra minat kosi b'yomekra b'yado afkid ruchi b'yet ishan v'yaira v'immeruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira Adonai li v'lo ira.